Hi YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about Michael Jackson and how I feel like he deserved a lot better and he still does deserve better. So before I get into it, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and to check out my previous videos. I did a video on Whitney Houston, Mariah Carey, and Maya. So let's get into it. So we know Michael has been singing his whole life like he's one of the greatest performers to ever live and no one can ever top him, no matter what. And we know he's been singing and performing since he was about 5 years old, right? And he was first let down as a kid. He was let down by his family. He deserved a lot more from his family. Like, we all know he grew up poor with a whole bunch of brothers and sisters that he had to share with in a small house. And besides that, his father was extremely abusive. Like, extremely. To the point where, even in interviews, Michael, as a grown man, would say that he was afraid of his father and he would get sick and throw up anytime he thought about his father, which isn't normal. That's not okay. And the fact that nothing was done about it, the fact that his father was able to abuse every single kid, including him, is just ridiculous. I know people will try to cover it up and say, well, because of that, he gave us the Jackson 5. Like, that's not okay. I don't care about the outcome. I'd rather someone have a normal life without worrying about being abused by their own parent. And although the mother didn't abuse the children of Michael, she let it happen. And that's bad enough in my eyes. Because after a while, I get it, you're in that abusive cycle as well, but you also got to look out for your children. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure your children are all right. But besides that, so we know that Michael was dealing with a lot since he was a child. And the fact that his childhood was taken away from him. He wasn't able to go out and play with other kids. He wasn't able to play basketball, join the band at his school, or do fun stuff like that. Things like us regular kids would do. No, he spent his afternoons, he spent his days doing a routine over and over. He spent his days singing, practicing all day long. Like, that has to be some violation of child labor laws. Like, his father was working him day and night and day. And being in the music industry at such a young age, he was exposed to a lot of things that he shouldn't have been exposed to. If you have seen the biopic of the Jackson 5 and American Dream, you can see that when he was a young kid, he was exposed to a lot of sexual things he shouldn't have been exposed to. But because he was in the music industry, and we know within the music industry and with Hollywood, it's a lot of evil stuff going on. It's a lot of over-sexualization, things like that going on, and he was exposed to that. And I remember in an interview, he said that or someone else might have said that even when Michael would be on tour with his brothers would bring girls home and have sex with them in the next bed while he's trying to sleep. Like, things like that is just not good for the psyche, right? So Michael's been deserving better as a kid. But then, and also being in the limelight for so long, he's probably dealt with critics and people coming for him since he was a little kid. And like I said, that can mess up with your psyche, right? To constantly be berated about a whole bunch of people who don't really know you. Yeah. So once he was able to grow up and once he eventually broke away from the Jackson 5, he wanted to do his own thing, which led us to the amazing Michael we know today, right? And even that was a whole process because the father felt like Michael betrayed them. The brothers felt like Michael betrayed them. But really, Michael was just tired of being held down by his family. He was just tired of that, right? And he wanted to do his own thing. And even during this time where he wanted to do his own thing, that's when the vitiligo started. That's when the patches started. And that's when he started, wearing the glove and things like that to cover it up. And people were beginning to notice that and make fun of him for that. Which is like, why are you making fun of a man who has a skin condition? Like, obviously he can't control that. If he could wave a magic wand to not have vitiligo anymore, I'm sure he would have done it. But he had it. And even though vitiligo was hard for him, I'm sure there was a lot of young kids during that age who had vitiligo and looked up to him because he had it too and he wasn't ashamed about it, right? And then we also have, during this time, his hair gets caught on fire, right? And that started his addiction to pain medicine because I can't imagine what it must feel like to have your hair caught on fire. Like, I can't imagine the pain and like the fear you would have. So it's like he's still young and he's gone through all this stuff in his life. So going back to the title, Michael Jackson deserved better. Period. So now, after things have calmed down, he's made a big name for himself. He got the best-selling album ever, Thriller, and he's really moving up in the music career, and he's really moving up in his celebrity status. And he's still, even after all the shit he's been through, he's still being a good person. He's still being kind. He's still giving to charities. He's still visiting children's hospitals, doing all this stuff. What celebrities do you know now, like, that are doing the same amount of charity work and show the same amount of care that Michael has? I mean, Michael Jackson has so many songs dedicated to caring about children, caring about the planet. And I can't think of any artist who's that socially conscious to make songs like that. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Maybe it's just an underground artist I don't know about who's making music like that. Let me know. Put me on if so. But it's just really sad all that he's had to go through. And even though he was still rising up, people still made jokes about him. People still talked bad about him. They still shared these crazy rumors that weren't true. I mean, that's the whole song Leave Me Alone's about, because it's just, where are y'all getting this stuff from? Why do y'all feel the need to push a man up and then tear him down? Like, that makes no sense to me. Because it's not like Michael was canceled. It's not like he did anything to warrant this type of behavior. So like I said, we know Michael was not able to live his childhood, right? So when he had the funds to, and he was grown, and he was able to, he was like, well, let me live out the childhood I missed out on, right? So he built the Neverland Ranch, right? And he was like, well, let me share this with other children as well, because he wanted to share this experience with a whole bunch of children who lost out on their childhood. Children who lost out on their childhood because maybe they're ill, maybe they're poor, maybe things like that, right? So he opened it up to that. But no, people had to make that nefarious as well. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like, people aren't used to other people doing nice things for them. People are just used in America, it's a lot of the me mentality, right? So when they see someone doing something for children that aren't their own, or doing something good for other people, they see that as like a negative. They see, oh, something must be wrong with that. It can't be pure and innocent because no one's pure and innocent. Which is just like, yeah, Michael wasn't a pure and innocent because he was a grown man. Like, you lose your innocence at a very young age, right? But nothing nefarious was going on. Because if so, why would Michael open up the media to come inside his house and to tell him what's going on in the Neverland Ranch? Like, it just doesn't make much sense. Like, if you're committing a crime and you're being a pedophile, or a pedo, I don't want YouTube to flag this video. But if you're doing things like that, then why would you let everybody into your space? Like, that just doesn't make sense to me, right? So, and then the first guy, the dad, I forget his name, honestly, I'm so sorry, but the first accusation came out, right? And Michael Jackson never dealt with this before. He did not know what to do. So he just thought if I pay them off, it'll go away. But I think he regretted that. And a lot of the Michael Jackson fans regretted that he did that because it left off this precedent that, oh, he did do it, he's just shushing them up. But that's the thing. That's not what I got from it, right? But that's what other people are going to think about it. At least he didn't do what R. Kelly did. R. Kelly literally signed off his royalties to Aaliyah's family to get them to shut up. Michael Jackson didn't tell nobody to sign no NDA and give them his bad catalog or something like that. So, yeah. And it came out that the father of the kid who accused Michael, it came out that he lied and he made it all up because I think he needed money. And this is a continuing cycle, right? Of parents saying that Michael did something to their kids when they know good and damn well nothing happened, but they just want money. They feel like they can exploit him because Michael is such a good guy. He's so nice that, oh, I can exploit him. I can get money out of him because he already has this accusation in the past. So with all this piling onto him, it's making him depressed. It's making the police after him, and the FBI like keeping an eye on him for like I think 10 years, like things like that. And that's terrible to live with. I can't imagine what that can do to your mental, to constantly be accused of something you didn't do, and have everybody, it seems like everybody in the world agree. And it did not help that his own sister Latoya turned on him and made it seem like he was this gross man who was doing these things with these young boys, right? It's disgusting. I mean, she came out and she said, she was manipulated into doing it. I don't know, like, no one could manipulate me to turn against my own family like that. At least not in the public. Like, it's just, Michael didn't really have much people on his side. He had some of his family members and he had his wife. But eventually, they broke up, obviously. And rest in peace to Marie Presley. But, yeah, so that would be a lot on a person to constantly have these accusations, to be turned on by some of your own family members, to constantly go to court, have people lie on you. And all you're trying to do is just make music. All you're trying to do is make music, make people smile, and perform. So it's just like, was the trade-off worth it, right? So now, once everything dies down, once he hasn't been convicted of any sexual molestation crimes, he's good. People still, to this day, still believe he did it. See, that's the thing. I don't believe he did it, right? And if maybe one day something comes out and it shows like undeniable proof that he was with these young boys, then I understand. Then I'm done, right? I'm not going to defend him anymore. I'm not going to, be up in arms for him anymore, right? But I haven't seen that. See, it's different because with R. Kelly, right, there is undeniable proof that he did these things. And there's thousands of women who said something. But for Michael, it's only been, I guess, 4. Because it was 2 back in the day, right? But it was 2 a couple of years ago. And these 2 grown-ass men, 30 years later, come out talking about Michael touched me. And they made a whole documentary about it that was really choppy, made no sense, all over the place, a whole bunch of inconsistencies. And it's just like, weren't you the same 2 who's like, oh, Michael didn't touch me? And now 30 years later, you want to say he touched you? Like, that don't make any sense. That does not make any sense. Like, I don't get that. And I think they're lying. Because it came out that both of them needed money for specific reasons. So, it's always back to the money. Money makes people really evil. I swear. It really does. And to realize Michael was in debt during this time anyway. He was in a lot of debt. So the fact that they still wanted money out of him is just crazy to me. So he was able to have children, right? And let me know what you guys think about this, but I have heard that Michael Jackson had used a friend of his sperm to have these children because apparently, this is alleged, okay? Allegedly, his father had abused him too bad to the point where he couldn't have his own children. And I can kind of see that theory just because his kids really look nothing like him. But let me know what you guys think because obviously they're still his kids, but like it seems more like an adoption type thing than actual biological children. So let me know what y'all think about that. But I know he got a lot of backlash about that because he dangled blanket over the balcony. Yeah, it wasn't the smartest thing. I can hold Michael accountable for that. Like, that was not smart. I get why he wanted to do it because he wanted everybody to see the new baby, but don't do that. But, yeah, and then it comes out that when Michael's doing the This Is It tour, he's trying to get that together, he dies, right? And it's really sad. Like, I was like a kid, right? I was like a little itty bitty kid when Michael died. So I wasn't really aware of it, right? But even now, like, I still cry about it because it's sad that they really murdered that man. And the doctor who took the fall for it, he only got 4 years and he only did 2. Like, excuse me? 4 years for murdering someone? What? It's so obvious that it was a murder and that it wasn't like, oopsie, I accidentally gave him too much medicine. No. It was it's more to the story than that. Like, if you really believe it was just, whoops, I gave him too much medication, then you need to do some more research, because it's not that simple. They really want to get rid of him. They were tired of Michael because he was too powerful. He had too much. He had too much catalog, too much money, too much fame, too much backing from the people, right? Everybody loved Michael, right? And they were tired of that. Sony was tired of him. All these different companies and record labels were tired of him because they were like, no, we need that music. We need those catalogs. We need that, this, that, and the third, right? And he can't have it. We can't let a black man get too powerful, right? So they killed him. They killed him and they got away with it, which is sad, right? And now he's still being exploited in his death to this day. They released music that they claim was Michael, but this whole time it was someone else singing for him. What? Why? Like, we just want authentic Michael Jackson music. Why are you having someone else sing these songs and claim that they're Michael Jackson's voice when it's not? That's what? So it's just things like that, and that they made more money off of him dead than being alive. So that tells you right there that this was planned. They wanted the money back. They wanted the catalog back. They wanted all of that back. And what's sad to me is that during his life, he did deserve better. He deserved better from the media. He deserved better from the people. He deserved to have people believe him and stop making fun of him, because a lot of people made fun of him because of his skin, right? He had vitiligo. I don't know how much more I have to say this. And yes, he did bleach, but he didn't bleach because he wanted to be a white man. He bleached because he didn't like the unevenness in his skin tone, and he wanted to just be one skin tone. Which I can't say that's bad, because I couldn't imagine what I'd do if I found out one day I had vitiligo and half of my body was this color and the other half was not. So I'm not going to shame him for that, because I couldn't possibly know what it's like to live like that, right? And then they want to shame him because he got nose jobs and he got other surgical, plastic surgery, right? But keep in mind, this man was berated for his looks since he was born. He was berated for his, especially from his own family, his own father. So, like I said, that's going to do something to your psyche, and it's going to make you think, well, damn, I'm ugly, so let me go get some surgery to fix that. I feel like he must have had body dysmorphia. I feel like the constant berating of how he looked fed into that. And even though he still dealt with all this stuff from the media, all this stuff from his family, he was still a nice person. And what makes me really angry is that to this day, people still make fun of him. This man has been dead for a while now, and people still make jokes about him being a predator, jokes about his skin, jokes about how he looks, saying, oh, Michael Jackson's a monster, he's scary. Like, things like that really annoy me, and it's like, this man's dead. Leave him alone. Let him rest in peace. Why are you still making fun of him? Stop acting like Michael Jackson didn't change the whole music industry forever. He's done so much to help everybody. And the fact that people still make fun of him, talk about him crazy, and this type of stuff is just really angry. It just makes me really angry, and it's not right. And they need to let that man rest in peace. I had also forgotten to mention how Michael was exploited by a lot of his so-called friends. The first person that comes to mind is Paul McCartney. Right, they were good friends, they made songs together, and they were good songs, I might add, even though I'm not really a Beatles fan. Now, the opportunity came to Michael to buy the Beatles catalog. I don't know why Paul didn't have it already, but he didn't. But Michael had the funds to get it, and he did not. And Michael is a businessman, so of course he's going to buy the catalog. Like, who wouldn't? Do you know how much that is worth? Like, come on now. And Paul got mad at him because he decided to purchase the catalog. And because of that, he had to cut off all ties. He didn't want to be associated with him anymore. He was mad at him, slammed him in every interview he got to. And it's just like, if this was really your friend, and it's really meant that much to you, you could have found a way to hash it out instead of bashing him on every single platform when he was already being bashed by everybody else. Like, That's not helping. That's not helpful, right? And also, I did not know this, but apparently Diana Ross and Michael Jackson were engaged. And I did not know this because I wasn't alive during the time it happened. If it is not true, if it is false, please let me know. But I believe it. Okay? And it's just kind of gross. Like she basically groomed this man, like because she saw him grow up. Like he was her crush. I mean, yeah, she was his crush. I mean, and once he got of age, that's when, oh, let's start dating now. Like, no, that's a little weird. Like, you saw this man grow up and now you want to be with him. Like, I kind of got to give you the side eye. Like, I can't call her a whole, you know, a pedo because he was of age, but it's just like, it's just, you just getting a side eye from me, right? And then you go break his heart, and, that's where Dirty Diana comes about. But, and I also think about Oprah, right? Oprah was the first one to do like, a big interview with this man. He gave her a lot of he pushed Oprah into the limelight, right? He did so much for Oprah, showed Oprah around his Neverland ranch, everything. Just for her to stab him in the back once he's dead and helping Wade and Safe Chuck or whatever make a documentary claiming that he abused them. But I thought you were Michael's friend. I thought you cared about him. Yet you're gonna be first in line to take him down. No, that's a little fishy to me. I don't like that. You gonna take Michael Jackson down, but I don't see you doing an interview about Harvey Weinstein, your best buddy. Like, very interesting. Very interesting. But no, that's all I gotta say about that. I'm done for real now. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out my previous videos, and bye.